Bruh, here we go again. Here we go again. Caitlyn is out minding her business. She out working on her golf swing at Michael Jordan's private golf course, doing her thing, not bothering nobody. Caitlyn Clark is not bothering nobody. And here we have another hating WNBA player being a flat out liar and a hater, and we gotta call them out and hold their feet to the fire. This is nasty, nasty work.
Okay, this is absolutely wild. Caitlyn Clark is literally just minding her business, working on her golf swing at Michael Jordan's private course, not bothering a single soul. And here comes another WNBA player who just cannot help themselves. They physically cannot stop hating. What you're about to see is so blatant, so unnecessary, that it's honestly shocking. And the craziest part, this player's stats are so mediocre. She has zero business even mentioning Caitlyn's name. But hold up. There's something way deeper happening here that everyone's missing. By the end of this, you'll understand exactly why these players keep self-sabotaging, and why it's actually backfiring in ways they don't even realize yet.
So, Louisa G, that plays for the Dallas Wings, Paige Bueckers' teammate, felt the need to go on Instagram and take shots at Caitlyn Clark to try to uplift Paige Bueckers. You can uplift Paige Bueckers without talking about Caitlyn Clark. You could do that. She wants to go play Captain Saver for Paige Bueckers based on fans' opinion, and she wants to go take shots at Caitlyn Clark on Instagram. Then she goes on a podcast and also takes shots at Caitlyn Clark. This is nasty, bro. Let's get right into it. Shout out.
So this is Louisa Geisel-Sitter, plays for the Dallas Wings, Paige Bueckers' teammate, and she decides to hop on Instagram and take shots at Caitlyn Clark just to uplift Paige. Here's what blows my mind though. You can uplift someone without tearing down someone else. That's literally possible. You could praise Paige's game, highlight her skills, talk about her achievements, but instead, she goes the route of trying to diminish what Caitlyn's doing. Then, and this is where it gets even more ridiculous, she doubles down on a podcast. Not just a random comment. Not a slip of the tongue. She deliberately went on a show and repeated the disrespect. Now check out what the article says about this whole situation.
The sports Kita, I can't. The way the site is mad choppy and kind of slow. I just gotta keep it real, so I gotta do it this way. So it says Paige Bueckers' teammate blasts Caitlyn Clark fans killer instinct jab with blistering remarks. Now, if you guys don't know, Paige there was Caitlyn Clark fans basically saying the reasoning for them liking Caitlyn over Paige is Caitlyn's killer instinct. So I'm gonna be bringing these up piece by piece because the site was kind of slow.
Listen closely to what he's saying here. The entire debate started because Caitlyn Clark fans were pointing out on what's pretty obvious. Caitlyn has this killer instinct that sets her apart. And honestly, the tape backs that up. We've all watched her hit impossible shots in clutch moments, carry her team when everything's on the line, perform under pressure that would break most players. That's not opinion, that's documented reality. But Paige's teammate felt the need to defend her by attacking Caitlyn's fans and dismissing what makes Caitlyn special. And get this, the host of this German podcast literally asked Louisa to choose between Caitlyn and Paige. You know what she said?
We know that's a bold-faced lie. We know good and well that is a damn lie. Is nobody is taking no damn Paige Bueckers over Caitlyn Clark. And y'all make us have to say things like, yo, Paige Bueckers, yo, she can't even sell out. She got the third lowest attendance in the league. We like Paige, but when y'all do this, when y'all do that, we have to do this. We have to do this. None of us was talking about Paige. We wasn't thinking about Paige. She got to go do Unrivaled. Nobody's bothering her. Okay.
Did you catch that energy? We know that's a full-face lie. And he's absolutely right. Look, I love Paige Bueckers as a basketball player. She's incredibly talented, fun to watch, has elite skills, but let's be brutally honest about what's happening in reality. Paige's team has the third lowest attendance in the entire league. Third lowest. That's not hate. That's just facts. Meanwhile, Caitlyn Clark sells out arenas everywhere she goes. Home and away. The numbers don't lie. But here's what makes this situation so much worse. When you force people to make these comparisons, When you take unnecessary shots, you make fans pull out the receipts. Nobody wanted to have this conversation. Paige was doing her thing. Caitlyn was doing hers. But now we gotta talk about why one player moves the needle and the other doesn't. And that's uncomfortable for everyone involved.
Fan gave Fever Garden upper hand in the matchup. It says Caitlin Clark is revolutionizing women's basketball right now. Paige Bueckers is extremely good, but without killer instinct, one fan said. And I agree. It's mad times where Paige Bueckers just looked like she didn't even want the ball down the stretch. Then it says, however, the wing center disagreed with the fans' take, responding with a bold comment in the same thread. Now, this is where the disrespect comes in. Now pay attention to this. This is where the disrespect starts. It's too much, and we got to call these people out. We have to. She goes and says this.
So Louisa goes on Instagram and drops this comment. Listen to what she actually wrote, because the wording here reveals everything. She says Caitlyn is definitely an important part of the revolution in women's basketball. Definitely not the only one, though. Then claims Paige has killer instinct and she can confirm 100% from live experience. Okay, let's break down what's really happening with this statement. First, that classic move, she's important, but not the only one. You see that psychological trick? It's the yes but technique people use when they want to diminish someone while pretending to give them credit. It's manipulation disguised as fairness. And here's where it gets really telling. She says she can confirm Paige's killer instinct from live experience. What does that even mean? You're her teammate. You practice together. That's not exactly an unbiased perspective, is it? That's like asking someone's best friend if they're cool. Of course you're gonna say yes. But the deeper issue here is what she's actually implying by saying definitely not the only one. She's suggesting that Caitlyn's impact is being overstated, that other players deserve equal credit for what's happening in women's basketball right now. So let's examine if that's actually true.
Get out of here, Louisa. Nobody's thinking about you, bro. Why are you talking about Caitlin Clark? Who are you? Bro, stop playing games. We talking about she did her part. No, she is the only reason. She's the only reason these girls is demanding all this money in the new CBA. She's the only reason these ratings jumped up. The ratings fell 55% when she got hurt. What are you talking about? Paige Bueckers ain't no superstar. Paige Bueckers had the third lowest attendance in the league. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Why are you taking shots on Instagram?
Watch how fired up he gets here, because he's hitting on something crucial. When Caitlyn got hurt, WNBA ratings dropped 55%. Not 10%, not 20%, 55%. That's more than half the audience just vanishing, because one player wasn't on the court. You know what that tells us? It tells us exactly how much of the revolution is actually because of her. And think about what's happening right now in the league. Players are demanding more money in the new CBA. They want charter flights, better facilities, higher salaries. All of that is possible because of the revenue surge Caitlyn brought. She's the reason sponsors are suddenly interested. She's the reason networks are paying attention. She's the reason casual fans who never watched women's basketball are now tuning in. So when Louisa says definitely not the only one, she's technically correct in the most meaningless way possible. Sure, other players contribute, but are they the reason for the revolution? Come on. We all know the answer. Now here's where this gets even more problematic.
You was drafted in 2020, second round pick by the Dallas Wings. Last year, you averaged 7 points and 5 rebounds. You don't get to talk about Caitlin Clark. How about that? We're going to start setting parameters, rules, and guidelines around here. We're going to start setting parameters, rules, and guidelines. Louisa G, I'm sorry. Your stats are not good enough for you to be trying to downplay who the woman that's about to get you more money in the league. What are you talking about? She's not the only reason. She's playing a big part, but she's not the only. You up here averaging 6 points. You got drafted 5 years ago. Well, I don't even know how you still here. You lucky to even still.
Listen to this breakdown of Louisa's actual career. She was drafted in 2020, second round pick by the Dallas Wings. Last year, she averaged 7 points and 5 rebounds. This year, 6 points per game. 6. So let me get this straight. You're averaging 6 points per game. You were a second round pick 5 years ago, and you feel qualified to diminish the player who's revolutionizing your entire league? The player who's the reason you're about to get a massive pay increase. That's the move you're making? And check out what he says. I don't even know how you're still here. That might sound harsh, but think about what he's really pointing out. In a league where roster spots are incredibly competitive, where players fight for every opportunity, someone averaging 6 points per game is taking shots at a generational talent. That's not just bold. That's delusion. But here's what this really reveals about the psychology of hate in the WNBA.
These women done bumped their head. I'm telling you, they can't help but to hate. You know who women's biggest haters are? Other women. That's really who women's biggest haters are. And it shows every single day in the WNBA, the gift that keeps on giving. Every day it shows.
Women's biggest haters are other women. Now that's a controversial statement, but watch how it plays out in this league over and over again. You've got Angel Reese taking shots, Chennedy Carter with that cheap hit, Dejanai Carrington with the eye poke, and the social media mockery, Alyssa Thomas saying Caitlin's just a basketball player, and now Louisa jumping in completely unprovoked. Notice the pattern? These aren't isolated incidents. This is a systematic response from players who feel threatened by someone's success. And the crazy part is, they're threatened by someone who's actively helping them. Caitlin's success is their success. Her popularity is raising all boats. But instead of recognizing that, they're trying to tear her down. You know what this is? It's classic tall poppy syndrome. When someone rises too high too fast, people want to cut them down to size. They can't stand seeing someone get attention they feel they deserve. Even when that attention is benefiting everyone. Even when the rising tide is lifting all ships, they still can't help themselves. And here's the part that's going to make you shake your head.
It's not. None of y'all games is getting moved into NBA arenas like that everywhere y'all go. None of y'all are. This girl sell out home and away. None of y'all are. Paige Bueckers can't sell out that tiny ass arena they're playing in Dallas. And I love me some Paige Bueckers, the basketball player. She's fantastic. What are you talking about, Louisa? What are you talking about? Have you lost your mind? These people are crazy, man. Caitlin Clark is not thinking about y'all. She not bothering y'all.
Listen to him break down the attendance numbers. Paige Bueckers can't sell out the tiny arena they play in Dallas. Meanwhile, Caitlin's games get moved to NBA arenas because the demand is so insane. Every single home game, sold out. Every away game, sold out. Teams are literally moving to bigger venues just to accommodate the crowds that come to watch her. But here's what makes this situation so absurd. Paige isn't the problem. Paige is an incredible player with a bright future. The problem is her teammate creating a comparison that makes Paige look worse. By forcing this matchup, by trying to claim Paige is on Caitlin's level in terms of impact, Louisa is actually highlighting how far apart they are. If she had just stayed quiet, if she just let both players do their thing, nobody would be talking about attendance numbers or comparing their influence. But now everyone's looking at the data and seeing the massive gap.
Y'all, why are you hating on Caitlin Clark? Look, man, Caitlin Clark, she out recruiting for Butler. She doing all types of stuff. She's doing her thing. She's doing her. She's doing her. She not bothering y'all in Unrivaled. She hasn't bothered y'all with Project B. She's not hating on y'all. She let y'all get your money, do y'all thing. Louisa, why are you on Instagram trying to downplay Caitlin Clark? Then to go double down on a podcast? Come on, man. Stop it, man. It has to stop. Enough's enough. Enough's enough, man. Get down in the comments. Let me know what you think about this. This is Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe.
Watch this part carefully, because he's explaining exactly why this matters so much. Caitlin Clark is out here recruiting for Butler, doing promotional work, supporting other players, staying in her lane. She's not on social media talking trash about other players. She's not trying to diminish anyone else's accomplishments. She's not playing these petty games. And that makes the hate even more inexcusable. If Caitlin was out here being arrogant, talking down to other players, acting like she's better than everyone, you could maybe understand some pushback, but she's literally doing the opposite. She praised the unrivaled league, even though she's not participating. She's supportive of other players getting opportunities. She's humble in interviews despite being the biggest star in the sport. So what exactly are these players mad about? What did she actually do to deserve this constant stream of disrespect? The answer is nothing. Absolutely nothing. She just had the audacity to be incredibly talented, incredibly marketable, and incredibly successful. And for some players, that's an unforgivable sin. Now here's where this gets really interesting from a business perspective. These players don't seem to understand that they're actively hurting themselves. Every time someone takes a shot at Caitlyn, every time there's unnecessary drama, it makes the league look petty and unprofessional. Sponsors don't want to invest in dysfunction. Networks don't want to promote infighting. Fans don't want to watch talented players act like jealous teenagers. What they should be doing is embracing Caitlyn's success and using it as a platform to showcase their own game. When Caitlyn plays, millions of people watch. That's millions of potential new fans who could discover other players if those players were smart about it. But instead of capitalizing on the attention, they're creating negative storylines that overshadow the actual basketball. Think about it like this. When LeBron James came into the NBA, did Kobe Bryant spend his time on podcasts trying to diminish LeBron's impact? Did Tim Duncan go on Instagram, claiming he was just as important to basketball's growth? No, they let their games speak for themselves and understood that LeBron's popularity was good for everyone. But in the WNBA, we're seeing the opposite reaction, and it's sabotaging the league's growth at the exact moment when it has the most momentum it's ever had. That's not just petty, it's self-destructive. And here's something most people aren't connecting yet. This behavior is being noticed by the next generation of players. Young girls watching this are seeing how established WNBA players treat their biggest star. What message does that send? It tells them that success will be punished, that standing out will make you a target, that being exceptional means dealing with constant hate from your own peers. Is that the culture you want to build? Is that the environment that's going to attract the best young talent? Because right now, the WNBA is showing young players that even if you're respectful, even if you're talented, even if you're bringing unprecedented attention to the sport, your fellow players will still try to tear you down. That's a massive problem that nobody's really addressing. The league is at a crossroads. They can either embrace this moment, support their biggest star, and ride this wave of popularity to new heights. Or they can let jealousy and pettiness destroy the momentum and go back to playing in half-empty arenas for minimal pay. You know what the craziest part is? 5 years from now, when these players are making significantly more money, when they have better travel conditions, when the league has a higher profile, they're going to have Caitlyn Clark to thank for it. And they'll probably never acknowledge it. They'll probably convince themselves that they built this, that their contributions were equally important, that Caitlyn just happened to be there at the right time. But the numbers tell a different story. The sold-out arenas tell a different story. The TV ratings tell a different story. The social media engagement tells a different story. History is being written in real time, and it's very clear who the main character is. So when Louisa says definitely not the only one, she's trying to rewrite a narrative that's already been established by objective data. She's trying to claim credit for a revolution she didn't start. And the sad part is, she could be part of this revolution. She could embrace it, support it, and benefit from it. Instead, she's choosing to be a footnote in a story about how jealousy almost derailed women's basketball's biggest moment. What happens next is going to define this league for the next decade. Will they learn from this and change their approach? Will they realize that supporting Caitlyn is supporting themselves? Or will they continue down this path of self-sabotage until the casual fans they finally attracted decide the drama isn't worth it and tune out? That's the real question. And right now the answer doesn't look good.